Okay, so we're at part 3 now. We'll keep running out of memories, so we might not get very far. I'll read paragraph 3 you've been told to have. Crossing the great water can be a metaphor for healing an illness with the help of the sage. Thoughts that impede the progress include spells created by inner comments of the ego, such as, "It's silly to be tossing coins, I am above that," or "It's not proven by science," or "It only works when you believe in it. I don't believe in that kind of hocus pocus." The ego will employ every tactic, especially those appealing to vanity, to keep the person from healing himself with the help of the sage. For this means to free himself of certain aspects of the ego in himself. Another logic, so it's got inverted commas, logic, employed by the ego is its assertion that the true way of healing must necessarily be hard and complicated. And at the same time, it would assert that if a person follows the cosmic way of healing, it should be instantaneous in an impressive miracle. God, the ego's critic, isn't it? It really just harps on. And you can see how, like, narcissists are just like egos on steroids. So yeah, it's on one minute the ego's saying, real healing takes a long time, and the next minute it's going, oh, well, it has to be miraculous and quick and impressive. Right, so that's the ego crapping on about stuff. So it must be an instantaneous and impressive miracle, or at least only a matter of 2 days and no effort. If it takes any longer, it's simply too hard. Okay, that's another thing of the egos. It's too hard. The intended conclusion is that if the cosmic way does not work right away, and if it's not thought thorough and complete, a person should return to conventional way of the collective ego recognizes. Right, so the cosmos is kind of waiting until your ego settles down and gets rid of these. Like, it's basically until the ego gives up, you're not going to get the help, right? Because the cosmos cannot actually help in this situation so long as your ego is there harping on with all this negative ideas about how things are supposed to be or should be or whatever. All right, finally, we got this last one. Do we need to know this last paragraph? Yes, 2 yeses. So this is relevant for someone. Finally, the crossing can refer to the passing over that is commonly called death. To make this crossing smooth and timely, the vehicle needed is comprised of certain helpers, which a person can ask on another's behalf to help him make the crossing. A timely crossing means that a person's life in a body has been completed. Receiving this line can be an indication that the time has come to ask these helpers on behalf of another person, or it could be an animal. One can determine this by asking the sage through the RCTM, which means throwing the coins. So yes or no, basically, through 3 yeses, 3 no's, 2 yeses, 2 no's, whatever, throwing the coins. Right, so there could be a death involved in this situation. And that might be partly why, in some instances, it's taking a while. Okay, now, hexagram 35. We're going to run out of memory again in a second, so I'll just read the few lines at the top. Progressing. The judgment. So this is after the completion's happened. Progressing. The true self is honoured by the sage's presence so that there is help for everything he does. The traditional rendering of this judgment is shown below. Okay. The cosmic progress or evolution is created through the progress of each of its parts in cooperation with each other. This cooperation takes place through recognising the equality of all these parts, both in the visible and invisible worlds. This includes a cooperation not only amongst humans, but amongst humans and animals, humans and nature in general, and humans and the cosmic helpers. For the individual person, progress always proceeds in the direction of fulfilling his destiny, which is to give expression to his uniqueness. Our lives are meant to follow in a natural course of progress, which is defined as moving on. Going on with one's life is what makes the growth and evolution of personal awareness possible. This growth of understanding accrues to the total consciousness of the cosmos, thus becomes a part of its evolution. The cosmic consciousness, so to speak, mines the experiences of each of its components in the same way that a human consciousness absorbs, digests and grows from each of the person's experiences. This kind of progressing is made possible when a person this kind of progressing is made impossible when a person becomes attached to the past, to his successes, failures, injuries and traumas, and when he fixes himself as wounded, damaged, defective or advantaged, privileged, perfect, etc. In regard to mistakes, he is attached whenever he equates his mistakes with being permanently stained with guilt, an ego emotion. Progressing also halts when a person becomes attached to some future goal, so that his every waking thought and impulses turn to that goal as the only thing worthy of notice, effort and intention.